Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your February 1st through the 15th love reading. I'm just lighting a little sage, excuse me. I'm Princess India. If you're new, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And if you're an old subby, you already know I love your freaking face. As soon as I get my little sage going here, I'm going to give you my gigolo gift for Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot or whatever. Didn't mean to make that creepy face at you when I was saging and things of the sort. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, sage, yeah. Do your thug thizzle for shizzle. So anyway, back to my gigolo time. That's your card, you know what I'm saying? And it says, I'm truly fortunate to have you in my life, Scorpio. And I don't need a cookie to tell me that. But I'll take one anyway. You know I love a cookie. Love always. Your Taurian friend, Princess India. So, I'm going to jump right into your reading. We're going to get an overall energy for you guys from February 1st through the 15th from the wonderful Whispers of Love deck. And then we're going to jump in with the energies between you and your cross-watcher or person of interest with the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Everything you need to know is in the description box below this video, including the information on signing up for the pre-registration for the Reiki certification course, as well as a personal reading. The waiting list is still up until my POS system is complete and I start completing those readings. So if you do want a personal reading with me, I would suggest that you add yourself to that list, you know, because once I start, I'm closing the list down and I won't be taking personal readings again until everyone on the list is finished. And then I'll open it up to the general public. So you might want to hop up in that thing, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for Scorpio for the month of February, the 1st until the 15th, please, Spirit. Clear and direct guidance for Scorpios. Anything they need to know, anything of utmost importance, Spirit, I ask that come to the forefront. Saging it up. Come to the forefront in this reading, please, Spirit. And I thank you in advance because I know you're good for it. Dang, that son of a gun. All right, first card is for Scorpio, and there it is. And the second card is for their cross-watcher. Sage got you right. Oh, that's too many cards. Sage got you two right. Cross-watcher. Whoa. Whoa, okay, we're not doing all of that. Alrighty, so for Scorpio, we have love makes the difference. Love can help heal, excuse me. Love can help heal past hurts and provide a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. That's beautiful. The card number is 31. 3 plus 1 is 4. And just what I was about to say, I feel that that is foundational to anyone's sense of self, right? Is when we attune with self-love, right? And it's kind of hard to say because self-love is a convoluted construct in a sense because it's very intangible. It's not really a schematic to obtain it per se. It's one of those things you're in possession of that the only proof that you're in possession of it is your behaviors and your actions and decisions. But it's more or less self-love and truth is really personal worth, value, and respect, right? It's personal integrity and having integrity in every facet of my life. So having integrity, to move that down a sense, to make that a little bit more tangible, being a person of integrity means that I know my values and I know my belief system, right? The things that are important to me, my morals. And I act every day in accordance with that, right? So if I don't feel that I'm an object and that I should not be objectified, then I'm not going to act in that manner, right? And that's something that creates a pathway to healing and growth and gives us a sense of personal security and gives us a strong foundation to stand upon, you know? So it's more or less a process. And training other people how to treat us based on how we treat ourselves. So I hope that I made that make a little bit more sense for you. You're totally not going to get it standing in the mirror telling yourself every day, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. It's what your mirror looks like when... Anyway, first card for Scorpio. The 10 of Wands. The Ace of Cups. Interesting. And the Queen of Swords. I don't know why when I turned that card over, I just saw a number 10 flash at me again. It's odd. Let me see here. Just give me a second because I'm just trying to make sure what I'm seeing here right now. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so this is looking like a breakup. Just out the gate like that? Okay, so what this is looking like to me, it's looking like wiping the slate clean and starting over, right? It's more or less like, because I'm looking at this, love makes the difference. It's almost being in a relationship where a person doesn't feel loved, right? And they want that, right? They want that emotional connection. They want, you know, all that good stuff that comes with love and things of the sort. But it's still almost like being fearing regret. That doesn't make any sense. Fearing regret? Do y'all have Gemini in your chart with these word riddles? Fearing regret, that's a paradox. Fearing regret. Fearing present. I'm afraid right now. Fear is projected into the future. So I'm afraid of something in the future about the past. So that's projecting me into the future. So that sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy there, Scorpio. I'm fearing regret. So I'm expecting the worst, in other words. It's like I'm afraid to drop this burden with the 10 of Wands. I'm afraid to let this burden go, even though it's weighing me down. It's making my back hurt. It's giving me sciatica, you know? I'm in pain, you know? I'm sweating, overwhelmed, carrying all this stuff. But I don't want to let it go, though. I don't want to let all this bondage go. All these bags on my back. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. I don't want to let this go. Because I might one day in the future regret that I did this. So let's just hold this on our back because we're afraid. Really? That's interesting. Fearing regret. Interesting. But I'm desiring what's at the bottom of this deck. 6 of Pentacles. In this deck, that's bored as hell. I'm just saying. That's what it is in this deck. Like, seriously, it's being bored. But what you want is an emotional new beginning, though. So looking at you guys' overall energy, love makes a difference. It's more or less you realizing there's no love here and you want to go somewhere where there is. But you're afraid to let it go because you're fearing regret. But I want you to kind of slow down with me, because I had to slow down to make sense of that. Your little guides, your riddle words, things of the sort. But I want you to slow down for a second and just think about that. You're presently fearing regret. And that has finality in it. Regret is a final word. Regret puts me in a place where something has transpired, right? And I'm regretting it. I'm feeling like I made the wrong decision. But you're not even there yet. You're in the present projecting into the future, and that projected future being a past in the present, if that makes sense. Fearing regret, past tense. So in order for regret to be behind you, you're going to have to go from this present moment to the future, you know, and be in the future for a moment, a good little moment, for what you haven't even done yet to be regretted, right? This is how we end up becoming prisoners to fear. This is how fear traps us in our mind. Because, of course, you're not thinking what I just heard. You're not thinking I'm fearing regret. You're more or less feeling like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt this person. Am I wrong? Am I right? That's more or less how it sounds in your head. But in reality, you're living in a paradoxical state, that of which is fearing regret. You know? So realistically, and if we break it down, because especially like in this deck, the Queen of Swords is leaving behind a bad partner. So this to me is, in so many words, like, this is very linear, put it that way. I want the Ace of Cups. Love is what's really making the difference here, but I'm afraid to release a burden. And a lesson that's supposed to be learned in all of this is, you know, leaving a partner that's not good for you, and being comfortable with being by yourself. You know what I'm saying? But more or less giving yourself time to heal, giving yourself time to grieve the pain, but not completely giving up on love in totality, right? So it's a little bit of self-nurturing. And then I'm even seeing here, because it's like, it's just the elements I'm seeing here, because there's a heart that has pins in it, and then there's burning a black candle. Like, nobody burns black candles unless you're putting juju on people. But it's more or less, I think this is more figurative, because I'm not really seeing this in a sense of like magic. It's more or less showing you how you have put a binding spell on yourself by fear, right? It's like you allowed fear, or are allowing fear, to be your binding spell. So it's putting yourself under a spell. And that's by being stuck in a paradox. You know, I'm fearing regret in the present, but I'm still not doing anything. This isn't in alignment with me. This isn't what I want. You know what I'm saying? You want to start over, but something that's clearly overburdening you, you're too afraid to let it go. You know? And then I'm seeing a frog, which is even better. I've never noticed that there was a frog in that card. Like, this is literally like, you know, you think about, it makes me think about the Three of Swords, and you know, like in the Rider-Waite, and how the Three of Swords is a heart, but there's like swords in the heart. And I said that in the reading before, like, hasn't anyone ever thought it was interesting? Like, why is that not in the cup suit? Like, why is something that's dealing with emotions in, you know, the suit of swords? And it's more or less because I look at it as the pain that is caused in our lives a lot of times, especially in reference to heartbreak, is because of the way that we're perceiving it and thinking about it. And it feels as if it's reality, as if it's literally stabbing us in the heart, because all of this is existing in a mental space. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I just heard is being better, not bitter. Right? It's like learning from this, because this, to me, it's saying more about the Scorpio person than it is about the other. It's the fact that you clearly know you're not happy, but you're afraid of regretting your decision, which means you don't trust yourself. And that's a problem. We have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, because it's almost like an inability to be vulnerable here. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're desiring a situation in which you feel safe, right? I can open myself up fully to a person. I am free to express myself. I'm free to be who I am. I can open myself up and feel vulnerable and safe enough to connect with a person in a spiritual sense and not just in a physical sense. That's what you're wanting. You're wanting something deeper. But I feel like because this situation is lacking that, it's feeling like it's a burden, you know? It's feeling like you're cursed, like you're trapped. And the thing is I feel like Spirit has me saying this like this because, and I don't know, you might be dealing with what sign that was that thought somebody was doing juju to him or something? I don't remember who that was. But the whole thing is, and this is a lot like how it was with Cancer, it's like the only person that's really standing in your way is you, because you have all of the intel you need. I want to be with someone that I can have a deep emotional connection with, something that has the potential to be cultivated into something that can stand the test of time. I can be with a person that I can open myself up to. I don't have to hide. I don't have to be anything other than I am, right? And them loving me for that, them embracing me for that, right? Connecting with them on a spiritual level. But it's a fear of letting this burden go. So it's burdening that is devoid of love, but I'm too afraid to let it go. But the thing that's important to note about this is that the person wasn't the right person for you. So like I said, the main lesson in all of this is knowing that you are putting yourself in a double bind mentally. And that's the only thing that's stopping you from having what you want ultimately, is the fact that you're afraid that you might make the wrong decision. But I'm telling you, you cannot make the wrong decision because it's already clear as pie. This is what I want. What this is not that, right? So I need to cut my losses, heal, and go in the direction of what it is that I want. But there's a need to be better, not bitter. You know what I mean? It's needing to cultivate that sense of security and worth within the self. And it's this whole theme of us being able to take our power back. And it's like the theme in a lot of these readings this month is showing people that in so many ways we've projected onto the external world that somehow other people were holding us captive, but it's becoming very clear how we've been holding ourselves back this entire time. And it hasn't been anyone else but us. And it's been little mind tricks that we play on ourselves, like fearing regret in the present. I'm just saying. I'm going to go on to you, cross-watcher. Okay. Cross-watcher. Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Interesting. First card. Wow. This puppy just keep coming up. We have the King of Swords. And then we have the Judgment card. And then we have the Ace of Swords. Oh, bruh. If this is well, I'm saying if it's a breakup, clearly it's a breakup. This was supposed to happen. With the Judgment card, this is like setting the captives free, right? This is being called to a higher state of being. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know, every single reading I've done before this one I'm seeing in this. This is why I feel like I need to do like a collective reading after this. This is bananas, dog. I'm not even going to lie to you. This is very bananas. But okay. So clearly there's an ending. There's a transition that's coming here. And I feel like there's a need for the cross watcher to be honest with themselves. It's like, and I said this to somebody else too, don't ever judge yourself for feeling what you feel. Don't say like I'm stupid or I'm dumb or, you know, anything like that for believing this and that or whatever. Don't do that to yourself. Because this is more or less like divine intervention. Because to me, it's almost like these two people brought the worst out in each other. You know what I'm saying? And it feels like how it was with Aquarius. It's like, it was because with Aquarius, they were with someone they didn't want to be with. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like staying in something out of obligation, you know? Or some type of contractual agreement or something like that. And here I'm looking at this like it's the same kind of energy here with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this is burdening. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like spirit had to come in to break this up because it's like binding yourself to something that you don't really need to be bound to. Like, you ain't got to be here, you know? What is the King of Swords here for, spirit? Then they got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. It's banana pants. Dog, that's so crazy. Like, you would really think that this person is, I don't really feel that feeling, but I mean, you would legit think that, like, cause I'm just looking back at this and I'm like, dog. I don't want to scare y'all, though. But I'm looking at this with Scorpio, dog. You would think. I really feel like, in a sense, it's putting yourself in a double bind mentally. You know what I'm saying? But this is exactly what this would look like. If somebody were to have done something to you juju-wise, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because I want two things that are in direct opposition with each other, and that's how that works. It's like if somebody were to do like a binding spell on you, it's like you just can't think straight. It's like what's up is down, what's down is up, what's left is right. It's like when it's the clear thing that you should do, it's like it just don't look clear to you. It looks clear to everybody else, but not to you. And I'm just looking at this and I'm like, dog, that really does look like that. Like, I want to be cleansed. I want to be renewed. I want a new beginning. But at the same time, it's like, I want to be stuck. But I don't know why I want to be stuck. It's like I'm burdened. And I want that, but then I don't. But I do. You know. But at the same time, it's like, I'm still honoring this person. Dog. Mm. That's interesting. This is interesting. We clarifying the King of Swords is the King of Chalices and the Knight of Wands. That's interesting. And I'm legit seeing that, like, dog. Wait a minute. How many minutes are we at? 27. This is about this. I should have known this was going to happen with Scorpio. When I do Scorpio at nighttime, things just be happening and be making things all just everything and whatnot. Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Because I just need to go ahead and clarify this with another deck. Because the stuff that I'm seeing a lot of things, and I don't want to say any of these things out loud if I'm not 100% sure that it's not that. Because I feel like if I were to say that, it cannot be unheard, and I'm not trying to plant any unnecessary seeds. Okay? Interesting. Cross-watcher is afraid of becoming bitter after all it is that they've been through. Because I'm looking at this as this is a series of disappointments for the cross-watcher. In this situation ending, even though it's supposed to, it's like I feel like they desperately needed this to work. Because I feel like the cross-watcher has taken a lot of L's, right? And this is like yet another L if this ends, right? And it's not wanting, like how I said with the Queen of Swords up here, like allow it to make you better, not bitter. It's almost a fear of them thinking that this will make them bitter. And like, I'll be alone for the rest of my life. Things are never going to work out for me. So it's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I feel the reason why that is because that's why your overall energy is saying embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. And that's like that whole narrative I gave just now. That's what this is. You know what I'm saying? It's the thought of what people would think, what people are gonna feel, or, you know, it's just being in this place of this really testing this person right now, you know? But the whole thing is like, I feel like this is something that was supposed to come to an end because it was becoming a point to where it was becoming toxic for both people and bringing the worst out of both people. And that's because it's a relationship that's past its expiration date. And that's like when a situation becomes like, it's not abusive to where there's the person that's victimizing another, right? And the person's like just being victimized. It's like when both people are contributing to the toxicity, and it's because something is past its expiration date and is being held on to for the wrong reasons. And this is very similar to what came up for Scorpio. I mean, not Scorpio, for Aquarius. Wow. In this situation for the cross watcher, it's supposed to create balance in them, but the whole thing is they're afraid that this is going to take them completely off kilter. But that wasn't the intention. If the cross watcher refuses to embrace their emotions, right, and to learn the lesson out of this, you know what I'm saying, of seeing that this is something that you're letting go of, even if it was a shock, but it's 4-year high is good, and there's a need to see that. So there's a level of self-honesty that has to be faced here. You know what I'm saying? Like, to not fall into victim mode of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened to me type of thing. Feeling sorry for yourself, and not going all the way to the extreme of becoming bitter and like angry on some stuff, and that completely transforming you into a person that you're not intended to be. So it's more or less a time now of needing to be self-compassionate, right? It will be a little difficult now to think logistically like that. So of course you want to have your grieving process, but you know, because I don't know, it's like this is a lot going on here. This is a lot going on here. That's a lot going on. And then it could also be the cross watcher fearing that it's another person. You know what I'm saying? That another person was involved. Like the person, you know, is leaving them for another person. But I don't really see that. I just see that it's, you know, it's stagnancy. Yeah. See, cross watcher? This Judgment card with the 6 of Wands, it's like this is a victory that you can't see. So you can't see it right now because, of course, it's like, you know, whatever. The ending, it's hurting. But the thing is that, like, the best way out of this is through it. So there's a need for you to embrace yourself right now and your truth and your feelings and your emotions, and to more or less, instead of cutting off from everything, it's to go completely into them, to go into that darkness, because that's the only way you're going to get through this. If you try to sidestep this in any way, it's either going to put you into a deep, deep, deep sadness and make you give up hope, or it's going to make you extremely bitter, angry, resentful type of thing. And this was intended, like the lesson in this is more or less like this is spirit kind of saving you from yourself. Because it's almost like you had to be thrust out of this. Because if you weren't, it's like you wouldn't have went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's more or less a lesson in learning to embrace yourself, to embrace your emotions, to come to a place of firm, like a firm foundation and a stability within yourself based on you seeing the truth in all of this. Because I don't feel like this is something you ain't know. This like, you could pretend like you were shocked, but you weren't. Because I feel like there were a lot of signs with this. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like kind of borderlining on one of those situations where it's equally codependent, where it's like codependent enmeshment, where you have two codependents in a relationship and it's like you're sucking each other dry. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like with a narcissist needs like a life force to suck off of, right? So you have someone who's like the giver, and the narcissist is the taker. But in codependent enmeshment, these are two people who don't exist outside of each other. It's like these two people get into a relationship and you become a freaking vortex and you suck the life out of each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like an emotional black hole where each person equally feels that this is my sustenance type of deal. And that's why I feel like the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords is here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a counterpart in a match usually. But even me seeing like the Queen of Swords coming up again, it's like for me, it's, how could I put this? It's almost like if people, Five of Wands, conflict. And with the After Tarot, I call that my ceasefire card. So it's like, stop fighting for this, dog. I feel like how this would show up, dude. People who would know these people, you could hear both sides of the story and you could never tell who was wrong. Because it's like, because, we're, very dyad, like, as human beings. Very black and white with things, right? So we always want to categorize who's the wrong one, who's the right one. Who's the narcissist, and who's the victim. But it's almost like in this situation, a person could hear the whole story and couldn't tell. It's like for every reason that you think one of them is the narcissist is the other reason you think the other person is the narcissist. It's like, who is it? And you can't tell. And usually when situations are like that, that's when you know it's like codependent enmeshment. It's like it's two codependents that from time to time, depending on the circumstance or the power struggle at the time, somebody steps into narcopendent. The reason why it's a fear of success and abundance. Wee boy, with Scorpio. So with Scorpio, the whole thing is you want the conflict to stop. You're tired of fighting for it. It's like you're exhausted. You know what I'm saying? You want peace. You want freedom. You want a fresh start. You know what I'm saying? But you're afraid of releasing this burden because like your little riddle word, it's fearing regret. So it's like you're afraid that if you... and I'm seeing this Empress with this Ace of Cups. It's like you're desiring to get an Ace of Cups. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with another person. It's like you're just desiring something that's going to add to your fulfillment in life. Something that's going to give you life and bring you life. Even though you feel bound to this situation, it's like you're tired. You've reached your limit, your tap out point. You know what I'm saying? Do not, cross go and collect 200. We're not doing that, right? But I'm afraid to release this, even though I'm desiring heavily. I want a new beginning. I want to be abundant. I want to be financially stable. I want to be happy. I want all of these things, but I'm too afraid to leave this behind, even though I know it's hurting me. The thing that makes the differentiating factor in this is love. And that's love for self. It's like, what is your personal worth and your value? Do you really believe that you're the Empress? Because if you do, the Empress would say, bump this and keep it moving. She would lick her wounds and keep it moving. And look at the truth of who this person is. But it's almost going back and forth in your mind between what's really happening here. And there's a need to be honest with oneself. You know what I'm saying? And it you may need to take some time to be by yourself to be able to see that, because it's a level of confusion that I'm sensing. But it's like, that's why I say reduce it down to the bare minimum. In the last year, 2 years, 5 years, has this person changed? Have they been what you want? Have you grown in this relationship, or have you regressed? You know what I'm saying? Is this person adding to you, or are they taking away? If you're fully aware that you're burdened, that's just what it is. And the choice that you have to make has to be in the direction of yourself. And it's like, and I say the same thing for the cross watcher. Like, I can't even point blame here and say that, oh, you know, it's Scorpio, or oh, it's the cross watcher. Nah, I think it's just these are two people where you were in a situation where it wasn't in the highest good of either person. And it's almost like divine intervention had to come through, because it's like nothing else would have helped. It's like, it's almost like the two of you would have sucked each other dry. And I know everybody is not going to resonate with this because this is so specific. But it's like the two of you would have led each other to each other's demise by holding on to this. You know what I'm saying? Wow, you have to be freaking kidding me. And now we have the freaking King of Swords. Make an executive decision, yo. Make an executive decision. This is all a lesson and a testament of choosing oneself, is needing to be honest with oneself. What do I want? And is this doing it for me? You know what I'm saying? If you're unhappy every day, or if something is like hurting you or taken away from you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, but all of this goes back to a lack of trust for oneself, like a trust in your judgment. It's like you don't trust your own judgment. You know what I'm saying? Fearing regret. You don't trust your your own judgment because you're afraid you would make the wrong decision. It's like, I know that I want better, but I don't know if I'm equipped to get it. Man. That's so crazy. And I think the whole thing is here, because it's like seeing all of these themes and all these people. I don't really so much seeing it as being related to like third party type of stuff. But it's more or less, I don't know, it's like trying to get blood from a turnip, man. And it's almost like this is one of those situations where releasing a person is what's in the best interest of both parties on some stuff. And I feel like the overall lesson for both people in this, man, is self-honesty, personal integrity, and doing things in the direction of that. But it's like, it's a lot of self-denial and fear. And it reminds me so much of how I was with Aquarius, but it's almost like here I'm hearing it so differently because it's like the depth of this emotionally is just so deep. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I think I'm feeling it like that because it's like, and I don't know if it's the cross watcher or if it's Scorpio, but it's almost like feeling like you're helpless to change anything. It's like feeling like you're a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get some additional guidance for y'all. Because this is really heavy, yo. All right, Spirit, can I get a card for Scorpio? I'm about to pick one. Wow. Scorpio, manifestation power. Use your spiritual gifts and natural abilities to attract your desired outcome. You have the ability to get what you want. You got to get out your head, though. It's like, I really feel like how I said it looks like juju. I don't think it's that at all. It's being mentally, wow, you got to be kidding me. Cut your cords. Dog. You see that? Cords. The Six of Wands, and he has his little red ribbon on there, breaking free. You got to stand in your power, man. Ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, freeing you from destructive patterns. And like I said, with this person, the cross watcher, I said taking a lot of L's is like King of Swords, King of Chalices, Knight of Wands. L. It's like everybody has disappointed me. Here I am again. Allow this to make you better, not bitter. You need to embrace yourself and see the truth of this. With the Ace of Swords is cutting these bindings. And again, it's the same thing showing up. You know what I'm saying? This red cord, that's etheric cords. They got a heart with a pin in it. With the Queen of Swords up here, it's a heart with a pin in it. Black candle burning. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing of like I said, it looks like juju, but I know it's not. There's such thing in psychology called a double bind. That's when a person is ambivalent. You don't want to make a decision and is playing mental games with yourself, like fearing regret. And the whole thing is I fear making the wrong decision. I don't want to be wrong. So I would rather be held prisoner and hold on to what I have than to venture out into the unknown and get what it is I really want. But the thing is, I don't trust myself. That's what it is. It's a need to trust yourself. And it's like this, to me, this relationship, like with all of this little cords and stuff, this to me was a karmic partnership that was intended to teach both of you a very, very viable, life-altering lesson, right? And this is something that was supposed to change the two of you and offset you both onto the path that you're supposed to go on. Because the thing is, it is past its expiration date. It was literally getting to the point that this was degrading both people on a very, 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 very bad level. It was bringing out the worst in both of you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that this is for every single Scorpio everywhere. This is a very specific message for very specific people. But the thing is, it's untying yourself and untying the other. It's both of you making the decision to release each other. Because one has to be honest with the self that both of you were bad for each other. You feel me? This was not in the highest good of either of you, you know? But going forward, there's a need for you guys to give yourself time to heal and to kind of bounce back from this in the sense of really learning this lesson and seeing what you've learned about yourself, you know? And specifically what it says on this card, freeing yourself from destructive patterns. It's like, I feel like every single dysfunction or bad choice, maladaptive thought process, false core belief, all of that came out in this relationship. If you really sat back and looked at it, you would see that, right? So it's like, don't run away from it, embrace it. Okay? Learn these lessons, heal, and move forward into something that's more in alignment with you and that's adding to your highest good. Whew. So sorry, Scorpio. I want to give you a hug. I am so sorry that y'all are going through this. But I assure you it's going to get better from here, you know? And we have Cancer, wow, and Aquarius. Dog, and I'm going to tell you something right now today. The Aquarius reading for this month is very interconnected with this, no doubt. The Cancer reading from a few months ago that I have linked under the Libra video is this situation as well. So if y'all got any of that in y'all chart, and I don't be saying nothing with the dice of resonance. Oh, and I forgot to tell you to ask a yes or no question, y'all. I'm all discombobulated. Whew. Okay, and this person is either a Cancer sun or an Aquarius sun. And then we have the friend. And you can pause me to formulate a yes or no question for this little die. Yeah, man, this got me. This is heavy. This is real, real heavy. I got to go ground myself after this. And the answer to the question is yes, in a few months. So Cancer, Aquarius, and it may be a sun sign, in a few months, and friend. But Scorpio, I love you, my sweet precious. I do, I do, I do. Much love to you. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I will see you guys soon later. Deuces.